Dear human being, beloved soul, I welcome you to my podcast series, Conversations with the Universe. After a near-death experience, my perception of our human existence changed profoundly. I became more sensitive, with all our known senses. I feel more intensely, see people with different eyes, and often take a different perspective on life and our challenges. In my books, I share these altered perspectives and all the knowledge that has flowed through me since my near death and thus record it. For all those who are searching for something more, for the meaning of our existence here on Mother Earth. And it is now a great pleasure for me to share this knowledge with you in this way as a supplement to my books. This season I am dedicating myself to my very first work, the basics of being. I wish you many wonderful insights on your path. Thank you. Love. Dear human, beloved soul, on the one hand, life is your soul's call to enjoy the now in all its colors and possibilities. On the other hand, it is a school that your soul uses to gain knowledge and at the same time to train your mind and thus your consciousness. Seen in this way, life is your soul's great opportunity to become even more aware of itself and of all the possibilities of being. Therefore, life is first and foremost a school of perception. It is a kind of preparation for the beyond. But at the same time, it is much more, because the beyond and life are part of a whole. And this whole thing is to be made more aware. Many religions teach us a similar thought model, but unfortunately, only half-heartedly. Preparing for the afterlife does not mean refusing to face life's challenges. Sitting motionless, or observing silence in monasteries day in and day out. This can be useful from time to time, but not in the long term. In a fitness center, there are different machines so that the whole body is trained. One-sided stress inevitably leads to illness and not to recovery. It is the same with the mind. It is very flexible, but if we do not constantly move it, it will freeze, and thus the channel of connections to other levels of consciousness will freeze as well. A first step on this path is to give such thought models, as I'm capturing them here, a space, and not to dismiss them immediately with doubts and prejudices. It in you is reading these lines. It in you is becoming curious and wants to get answers to life's questions. It is precisely this curiosity that is the force behind the movement of your mind and thus of your soul. Depending on how deeply these lines touch you, so much of this knowledge has the chance to unfold during your lifetime. You yourself decide whether you use it as a concrete suggestion or just dismiss it as an inconsequential breath of wind that touches your life. We should use every day to learn as much as possible from such thought models. Because from the moment your body dies, you will be dependent on precisely this trained perception and the flexibility of your mind. Because then you will find yourself in an other world, and your consciousness is crucial to what you perceive there. If a person has devoted themselves to the experience of the whole, and thus to all the levels and their beings throughout their life, they have the opportunity to perceive and experience these in their entirety after their earthly life and to dwell in these other worlds. However, if he considers such things to be absolutely impossible and not real enough for him to have experienced them himself, then he will also have a more rigid, limited and empty perception after his death. All these other planes and beings are always there. You just have to direct your consciousness in such a way that you find them, or rather reach them. However, if I have spent my whole life dealing exclusively with material things and have considered such thoughts to be impossible, I will not be able to perceive these other worlds after my death. Just the fact that I consider something to be impossible, which cannot be in my world view, paralyzes my consciousness so much that I actually cannot experience what is possible. If, however, the willingness to perceive is there, then the heart is open, and there arises not only the connection between you and the other worlds and their beings, but also to your soul, and ultimately to the source of all being. This is how you become whole. If the heart is open, the mind can move. If it is closed, it is trapped. Trapped for a lifetime in doubts, rigid thought patterns and points of view of an exclusively coarse material world. Therefore, dear human being, give this book a chance to shake you up and move you. This can be crucial for you when you leave the earthly world. I would like to emphasize once again that training the mind is by no means tied to deprivation of pleasure or some form of self-punishment. We owe this ludicrous idea to some of the world's religions, which are more aware of the power they have than of the responsibility they bear towards people. Consciousness training is nothing more than thought discipline, no more, no less. To train your consciousness does not mean to tie it up, but the opposite. To let it unfold, flourish, and grow. Thus, any thought model that works with fears and prohibitions towards life and being human is a false one for training consciousness. Living and not denying life is the only chance to unfold consciousness. Only life. Only the experience of knowledge makes you truly rich. Rich in abundance, rich in fulfilled knowledge, rich in flexibility in your mind, rich in perceptions. The muscle of consciousness called mind has descended into matter to create. So the more you renounce being in this world, the more you deny your mind its creative power. The less you imprison yourself and your being here on earth, the more you will experience, live and create. Because the more you can experience your knowledge, your real self and your spirit in matter, right here and now. So it is important to seize life and to train your consciousness while you still can. This is not possible before or after, but only now, in this moment. Do you want to leave this world without having progressed one step in your consciousness? Do you want to have to start all over again because you leave in the same state as you came? Do you want to waste this chance of your existence? My book is based exclusively on experiential knowledge and challenges you to change your previous view of the world in which you live and to look at it from a different perspective. The time in which we live is one of the most exciting that one could have chosen. From several different fields of our current science, we are receiving information these days that the frequency fields of our Earth are changing or increasing. This concerns, for example, the Schumann frequency, the Earth's magnetic field, and also the effects of increased solar activity, to name just a few. These changes have a direct influence on people's consciousness. Our life is a succession of opportunities, and we must learn to make better use of them. Therefore, I want to use these lines to make other people more aware of the opportunities of their life event. Every person holds the keys to their own existence in their own hands. They just have to recognize it. One's own life is exclusively one's own responsibility. And the more aware one is of this responsibility, the more purposefully one can use it and create what one dreams of. Above all, one can live according to one's true destiny. Many people long to finally see the light and to receive an instruction leaflet for their lives that will enable them to experience their earthly existence and to make use of the laws of the cosmos. Everything is energy. The whole cosmos is energy. And energies flow. They follow laws that need to be learned. But as long as we don't even know these laws, it's like having a car, but not knowing how to drive it. The religions of this world make a huge secret out of how to turn the ignition key so that this car starts and moves. Maybe because a moving car would make a difference. My intention is not to create new theories that no one can use, but to pass on tangible formulas for life and being that everyone can understand. The question of why we need a package insert for life is certainly justified. After all, we have managed without one until now, haven't we? Life lives itself, and the world turns without this knowledge, doesn't it? My answer is no. because what we experience and live without this expansion of our field of vision is more like reeling than conscious living. Weakness makes you aimless. Aimlessness makes you lifeless. L-I-F-E. Let this word melt on your tongue. What does it mean to you? Have you ever thought about it? The answers are as varied as the colours of nature, because every person feels differently. Everyone lives differently. But what does life mean to you? When do you feel life? Being alive? And how? Knowing what life means to you is crucial if you want to recognize your life goals and subsequently achieve them. Your life force is closely linked to your own definition of life. And without strength, you can't achieve much in your life. Therefore, it is very helpful if you are clear about what exactly your life and being mean to you. Over the millennia, countless people have stumbled through their lives because all the wise men of this world kept the knowledge locked in their dark chambers. As a result, the package insert for being human was lost. Forgotten, burned, lost and mocked were all the truths of being, until humanity forgot itself and with it all this knowledge. Are you ready for a new view of the world? Are you ready for a new view of people, of being, of life? Are you really? I deliberately ask this question at the beginning of this book because what you are about to read will not only be pleasant or beautiful for you. This is about a way of looking at our world and being in it that you may never have read or heard before. And if you are ready for it, it will inevitably change your life. New perspectives entail a changed consciousness, and this new consciousness will make you decide differently than before how you shape your life. Change. If you cringe at the thought, ouch, no, then you can put the book aside right away. However, if change is exactly what you have been hoping and waiting for, but never knew how it could happen and when the time was right, then this is where you should start your journey. Because what you are about to read will change your perspective on the world and thus also on your life. This book is therefore primarily helpful for all those who want to change their lives, but so far have not been able to recognize a new direction or goal. However, if you still prefer the deceptive security of your previous life and find it more comfortable, then you should not read on here. We have to open the door to other worlds ourselves. I wish you the strength and courage to look where most people have not yet been able or willing to look. Carpe vitam. Seize your life. Thank you for listening. Love.